Well, hello and welcome to your weekly look at Tiffin University football. Hi, everybody. I'm Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my left, head coach of the remaining undefeated Tiffin University Dragons, Coach Cris Reisert. How are you doing, bud?
Doing great. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday.
Something like that, I think.
I know, they all blended together.
Right. Well, Dragons coming off another big win over Walsh, the final home game of the year. And we mentioned it last week, Coach, about how important it was to make sure those seniors walked off the field with a victory their last time at home, and you guys were able to do that.
Yeah, no, it was a big deal, and to have the first opportunity or the final opportunity in a regular season game at home for our seniors, and wanted to be able to set them off on a high note. We were able to do that.
And the weather cooperated for once on a Saturday.
I know. It was amazing. It was nice, no rain and not much wind, and it was good to have a little reprieve from the weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a quick look back at the Walsh game where we talk about this Saturday's upcoming opponent. It was good to see Devin Nelson continue get back in the fold a little bit more. He got your scoring started this week. Actually had over 100 yards on the game as well, but a big 39-yard touchdown run to put the Dragons up 7-0, the first score of the game, a 5-play, 78-yard drive, 2:13 off the clock, and a big 3rd and 14. And your quarterback, Keegan Ray, we'll talk about him a little bit more later, a 14-yard run on that 3rd and 14 to keep that first scoring drive alive. A great big play for your quarterback with his feet.
Yeah, really big play by Keegan and wonderfully blocked up front. But it was an extra effort, strain type play, and showed some physicality and some toughness there, which was cool. Really, it was a big first down that kind of got the ball rolling, and then Dev able to take the next one to the house was cool. And yeah, Dev has been banged up. Finally kind of starting to get back healthy, and it's good to see him getting back to full strength, and he's a special guy when he is.
Well, notice his explosiveness started to come back a little bit more this past Saturday out there. Some of these long touchdown runs, had himself a really good game. Good to see. It's great to have a nice, stable running backs, but Devin's kind of been the leader of the group since day one this year. It's always good to get that leader of the group back out there.
No doubt. Yeah, I think for all of us, it's good to see him out there running the rock.
Absolutely. Well, Keegan Ray, as we mentioned earlier just a few moments ago, found Ronald Blackman on an 11-yard touchdown run, a 4-play, 57-yard drive, 1:36 off the clock, and the Dragons have a 14-0 lead. Now one really set up on the defense on a previous drive, a 3rd and 13, a pass breakup by Marshawn Mankins to force the punt to get you guys football back.
Yeah, no, I thought we started fast in really all three phases, and to be able to cap it off and get a 14-0 lead pretty early in the football game, I think it was a big advantage and made them play from behind, which is probably a spot they didn't want to be in, and so I thought we became the aggressor in that regard.
That was the score at the end of the first quarter, 14-0. Walsh came out, put 3 on the board to start the second quarter to make it a 14-3 game. Then another one of your running backs who just seems this guy just loves getting to the end zone. Tyrese Banks' door on a 14-yard touchdown run off a 9-play, 53-yard drive, 3:42 off the clock. The Dragons lead at 21-3, and Tyrese on a 4th and 1 on that drive broke off 8 yards to keep that one alive.
He did, yeah. Had a big run on 4th and 1 and allowed us to continue the ascent of that drive, and then it's cool to see him be able to come full cycle and cap it off, at the end of it. Again, I thought we played really well up front and we had 3 different running backs that scored, and so it was cool to be able to see that on Saturday, and a lot of the credit goes to the big boys up front, all the things they're doing.
As many yards as you guys gained on the ground on Saturday, you can't do that without the work that those big guys up front did, and it seems like every single week almost they're doing that job for you up there.
They've done an awesome job, yeah, all of them have, and Tyler Johns, our line coach, has done a tremendous job, and so it's been really cool.
All right, Tyrese again gets in the end zone in the second quarter, a 6-yard touchdown run, a 5-play, 57-yard drive, a $1.25 off the clock, and the Dragons have it at 28-3 at this point. And a first down play earlier in the drive, Keegan Ray finds Jalen Thomas for 19 yards to get that drive going.
Yeah, big little screen play and well executed in a big way, obviously. And anytime you can start the drive off that way, get a chunk, and things kind of start snowballing from there, and makes it a lot easier as the drive goes on.
Well, the Dragons lead at 28-3 as we work our way into the halftime. Walsh comes out and started the third quarter, scores a touchdown, make it 28-10, but then Keegan Ray to Josh Lewis, who I think I might have just seen leaving the office here just a little bit ago, a 7-yard touchdown pass, 5 plays, 58 yards, 1:39 off the clock. It's a 34-10 Dragon lead. And we mentioned Devin earlier. Devin Nelson, the play before the touchdown, broke off 19 yards to set your Dragons up inside the 10.
Yeah, he did. No, I think anytime you're going to go into the half, you want to be able to go in with momentum, and anytime you come out of it, you want to be able to strike first with momentum. And they got the ball and went down and scored 3. Our defense got a pretty pivotal stop, forced the field goal, and then offensively to be able to kind of take that momentum and really just kind of bring it back over to our side, I thought was big. Anytime you can do that, I think in a football game where it feels like it's starting to ebb the other way, and you can really pull it back. I think it puts you in really key position in the football game.
Well, Walsh was able to get a field goal before the end of the third quarter to make a 34-13 game. Then the Dragons, Ronald Blackman had a touchdown earlier as a receiver, this time on the ground. 23-yard touchdown run, 4 plays, 75 yards, $126 off the clock. And that was set up by a big 38-yard run by, once again, Tyrese Banks-Dorn to put the Dragons up 40-13. And then the defense ends up getting an interception to make a big play towards the end of the game to keep the score where it was. Was that Malik Baker?
It was. I was right there. It was a great play, and we were all yelling and screaming for him, so it was cool. Anytime you get a chance to, kind of get as many guys in on a home game, especially on a senior day, and it was a fun moment. I think it says a lot about the culture of your team when the other guys are in, how excited the guys are for them, and,
certainly,
and how well they play. And so it was cool to see guys that maybe don't get in all the time, but our older guys really excited and encouraging to them. So it was good for our program for sure.
Well, we're going to touch on some of the numbers from the Walsh game here real quick, and then we're going to do a little something different. We're going to bring in a guest, which we've done a couple times so far this year. We're going to do it again today. The guest we're going to bring in is a head coach of a GMAC regular season championship team and a team that's #1 seed in the conference tournament. So we'll leave it at that. A little tease, but let's talk about the Walsh game here real first before we bring him on. So you held him on third down to 3 of 14, 21%. What's the number you're usually looking for as you want your defensive third down percentage to be?
Really would be under 35%, and so we've played really good third down defense. That's something I'm really proud of our group of, and a lot of it leads to playing well on first and second down. I think we've gotten ourselves in some pretty favorable positions on third and long, and at that point, the advantage is kind of on your side, and then I think our staff and our players are really fed off that momentum and got off the field.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time. 3rd and 3 compared to a 3rd and 8, that's a totally different ball game trying to convert that.
Yeah, it's much harder for a play caller, I can tell you that.
Well, Keegan goes 14 and 19 in his first career start, 160, no interceptions. That's the big number for him. Yeah. And found the end zone a couple times. You got a little smile on your face. You're pretty proud of the way the young man played.
I thought he played great. Yeah, no, we're really proud of him. And he's a guy that, man, he's kind of waited his turn and been ready at every opportunity that's presented itself, and every opportunity that's presented itself, he's taken advantage of it, and something we really believe in. So really excited for him. Our players are really excited for him, and it was a cool opportunity that he certainly took advantage of at every turn.
Bunch of people in the skill positions making a lot of plays for you on offense, and that really goes back to what we mentioned earlier. Those guys up front allowed your quarterback to find 8 different receivers in the game. Josh Lewis with the receiving touchdown, and your running backs to run for 308 yards. Devin Nelson goes for 111 and a touchdown. Tyrese Banks-Dorn in the end zone twice, and Ronald Blackman once on the ground and once in the air. So you can't do all that without the guys up front doing their job.
No, total team effort. Total team effort, and I think the style of football we want to play, it's certainly a 3-pronged attack, and all 3 phases I thought played well and gave us an opportunity to do all those cool things in the box score.
Defensively, Zeke Brown, 8 tackles, and Malik Baker gets that interception. Ramon Jackson, Cris Reisert, Antonio Berry, Radical Rothamel, all involved in sacking the quarterback. Talk a little bit about Radical, the freshman. If you're not sure who he is, look for the hair hanging out the back of the defensive line.
No, redshirt freshman. We call him Bad Rad. Bad Radical, and so he's been unreal. He's played really well for us up front, and actually was a linebacker and offensive guard in high school, and came over last year and made the transition to D-tackle, and he's the things you want in your program. He's tough, he's dependable, loves ball, plays with high effort, and he's a finisher, and so it's cool to have him.
Those defensive linemen got to play with a bit of an attitude, and it seems like he plays with one as well.
He does, and I think, man, if you love ball and you, that passion and that energy is contagious, and he's one of those guys you can see at every play, plays with it.
Well, we got 2 more road games to finish up the regular season. This Saturday, we'll be at Ohio Dominican. But before we talk about that, Coach, why don't we take a quick pause and bring in our guest here real quick, all right?
I love it.
We'll be right back with the head coach of the Tiffin University men's soccer program, Rudy Brownell. Well, here we are. Welcome back to the Coach Cris Reisert Show, and a big week this past week as the regular season and some of these sports in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference have finished up, and men's soccer one of them, and Coach Rudy Brownell, head coach of the 1 seed in the conference tournament. Congratulations on the great regular season.
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that.
Well, it's Coach's idea to have you on here today to talk about your season your kids have. You had senior day yesterday. You get to host a first-round conference tournament. How important was it for you guys to finish in that top spot when it comes to seeding in the conference tournament?
Well, it was very important because obviously when you go through everything you go through during preseason, you want to make sure that you get an opportunity to be at home, have your fans, and the staff, everybody come and watch you play and see, basically that's what we're playing for. So.
And how about those seniors that we recognized yesterday? Talk about the effort that they put in for you. Not all of them have been here for 4 years, but some of them have. But talk about the effort that those guys do, not only on the field, but as in leaders of your other men.
Because I always say this, man, if you have a team and you have 10 great guys like what we have graduating this year, so is those young men out there to help us out, because those guys are extra coaches, I like to say, off and on the field, and make sure that our younger guys are doing the right things. So we try to make sure that. So I believe that if you're going to have a great team, the team is led by players. So those 10 guys have been unbelievable for us. So.
And I heard Coach Church saying the thing to his guys. Great teams are led by players. So you feel the same way, Coach Reisert, when it comes to football and all the sports. You can have a great team, but if you don't have great players as your leaders and great leaders, it's hard to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think there's tremendous value in peer pressure of sorts. I think there's tremendous value in having older guys that set the foundation and set the example, and having younger guys that are willing to listen and observe from those older guys. And I've seen it in coaches' program, and I think it's true in our program and much true in many successful programs.
So, Rudy, let's talk a little bit about the fall athletics so far. You guys put that championship up there first. Talk a little bit about all the athletics as we've got started. Gosh, it's been a couple months now already. But talk a little bit about where we were at the end of August to where we are now.
I think where we are now is pretty good. I think that, obviously we got Coach Reisert here. I'm praying to God that I know you have 2 more games left. And hopefully we go into those guys down the road over there, we can knock them off and win another GMAC championship. I hope for that. And I think other teams, volleyball, cross country, everybody else is doing pretty well. I think it's been a pretty good fall so far.
And volleyball had a big win last night to really take a step forward and getting themselves a spot in the conference tournament. And let's talk about, speaking of conference tournaments, let's talk about that's the next step for your guys. So people come out and watch your kids this Saturday. Talk a little bit about the effort they're going to see from your team.
I think that if you come out, obviously you come out, we're playing against, a rivalry in Finley for the 3rd time this year. So I think if you come out, you see the effort out of those kids. I think that anytime we can play those guys a half an hour down the road, so we want to knock them off. So we're going to try our hardest, to see 100% effort this week as we can knock them off.
Well, sad thing is you guys are playing at the same time on Saturday. That's the tough part, right?
I know. I wish we could fix that. But and I'll say this, man, the quality of play that his team plays with and how much fun it is to watch, I think it really is cool, to be there and see it in person. And these guys are fast and big and play together as a team. They play hard. It's really, really neat to watch. So it's a cool product. Come out and check it out.
I'm sure that Coach Reisert watch your kids and sometimes thinks, man, I bet I'd like to see that.
I do. I'm like, you go look at tight end. I got to talk to Coach.
I bet you look at his team sometimes and think, I'd like to get those kids on the pitch.
100%. That's good. And like I said, Coach Reisert obviously been, you've done a phenomenal job with the football program there. And like I said to you, I wish again. I'm looking forward to. I don't want to count this weekend up. I'm looking forward to next weekend, going down the road and knocking those guys off, because it's always nice if you can knock those guys off.
I'm sure that your kid's focus is just like Coach Reiser's. I talk about what's happening in the future. He doesn't talk about that because he's got kids that he knows will stay focused for what's at hand, the next game in front of you. Your kid's much the same, I'm sure.
Now we always say to our guys, hey, what's next up? And the next up for us, is Finley on Saturday. That's all we're concerned, that's all we're worried about. So we're going to hopefully try to take care of those guys.
And I'm sure just like on the soccer pitch, like it is on the football field, they can prepare for you as much as they want, and you prepare for them as much as you want, but really all comes down to what the guys in the green and gold do out there on the field, first and foremost, to put yourselves in a spot to win.
100%. And it's all, as coaches, you can go through, that's what I tell my staff. We can put all the preparation in places for the whole week, but as soon as that day, that whistle blows, so it's not too much you can do, but make it probably doing the game, so I'm trying to make some kind of adjustments during the game. But everything else is up to the kids.
So at the end of the season, you guys going to do a little crossover battle? Put the soccer guys on the football field, the football guys on the soccer pitch?
I don't know if you can do that because his guys are bigger than my guys.
There's some pretty big guys out there, isn't there?
Yeah. Neither one of us want that.
No, neither one of us
don't want to do that.
So let's just give a little summary, Coach Brownell, about your team this year. Where you kind of had your expectations, have they met your expectations, and do you think that the kids have met their own expectations this year?
Like I said from day when I told our group of guys that we work with, those guys have been unbelievable. Obviously we played 2 games this year. We've been a man down and won both games. So those guys, obviously, every adversity, so they find a way to come through. So these are a special group of young men I'm working with this season. And we had some great team here in the past, but this team, for me, Very special team.
What is it about? Is it their leadership? Is it their heart? Is it their togetherness? What is it?
I say just the leadership and the hard work. Because every day of training, these guys work really hard. Because we try again. I believe that you can't turn it off and turn it on. You know, if you train hard, you're going to play hard. So we try to make sure those guys are training hard. And we have the thing is, if you don't train well, you don't play on game day. So all our guys try to. We got at least between 15 to 20 guys that every day at training. Okay, those guys are working their socks off.
Right.
They want to play.
Chris, you mentioned the same thing. Nothing's guaranteed.
Yep.
Especially at the collegiate level, you got to go out and prove yourself. Football's an example. Basically like Monday through Friday, you go out and prove yourself to get that opportunity to play on Saturday, right?
Yeah, I think it's the value in recruiting. I think when you have, like Coach said, 15 to 20 talented guys on the soccer team that are playing a lot of soccer, and for us, we've got whatever it is, 8 wideouts, right, and 5 running backs and 12 DBs, and guys understand the value of having a good week of practice. And if you don't, you're going to get passed up. And if you're unwilling to put forth the effort needed and the passion needed and the preparation needed, somebody's willing to. And I don't know that every team has that opportunity because you don't have the depth. And so I think it's a value to the way that we've recruited here at TU in a lot of different sports that allows us to coach and play that way.
What do you think allows you to recruit that depth? Is it the previous success? Is it the message that you're preaching to the kids? Or is it the kids coming to campus and thinking, maybe this is the place for me?
Sometimes Pastor says obviously is just getting out to those kids that, listen, man, if you come to TU or so, this is what we're all about. This is what we want to do. This is what our men's soccer program is all about. So if you want to be a part of this journey we're trying to take, come and play for us. So basically trying to sell that.
How proud are you of where this athletic program has gone from your days as a youngster here on Tiffin University campus? It wasn't that long ago. Your days as a youngster on this campus to where everything is now.
I'm very proud because obviously, like I tell, obviously I've been here with, when we had 1 or 2 buildings. We never had this building that we're in right now. So I'm very proud of the whole city, where we're trying to go to. And I'm proud of the sports team because it allowed us, what a university, what a president does was allow us to compete, and we need to compete. If you want to win a championship or so, you need to give us the resources that we need as coaches to compete. And I think that we're doing a good. We're moving forward. So I'm looking forward to what the future got to go for us. So.
Things have changed a lot since you've been here, Coach Reisert, but nothing like compared to when Rudy started here, and you kind of echoed his sentiments on that as well.
Yeah, I say all the time, I think Tiffin has an industrial spirit in the sense of, I think we always try and find a way to get better. It's never, hey, we can't do that because that's not how we've done it. It's, hey, we haven't done that before. Let's figure out a way to make it work. And I think as long as we carry that entrepreneurial spirit, which we have, and I think President Schumacher and Kelly Daniel have done a tremendous job kind of leading with that vision. I'm so excited for where our athletic department, where our university, where our town can go. I think the future is bright in Tiffin, Ohio, and I think it's certainly bright at Tiffin University.
Absolutely. The winter sports season right around the corner. There's a lot of excitement about that with everything going on. Spring sports season always has a great excitement about it as well. You guys like the springtime. You guys get to get your guys back out working out some more, right?
Right. Well, let's finish the fall first, Russ.
I know. Again, I get to look forward.
Come on now. Let's finish the fall. We got Saturday, and we're gonna have 2 great Saturdays, and then we'll move on to the next step from there.
Yep. This Saturday it'll be on the Great Midwest Digital Network. All 4 of the quarterfinal games will be on the network. I believe we're the first game at the 1 o'clock start for the Dragons, and the football team that's also a 1 o'clock start, I believe, on Saturday as well. So everybody's got a phone and a computer, so you can put them both on. Right? There's no reason to have both on. If you put TV, the Great Midwest Athletic Conference Digital Network, so lots of cool things going on. Rudy, one last thing here before we let you get back to work, and about just something about the effort that people are going to see from your kids on Saturday.
I just say if you come on and watch us play, you can give it 100%. And I just want to say, hey, thank you to Coach Reisert for having me on the show, by the way. I really appreciate that, Coach.
Of course.
Good luck this weekend, too, by the way. All right?
Likewise.
Ross, thank you also, too. Appreciate that.
No problem.
For anything you do for us, obviously getting us that there. I appreciate that. All right?
No problem. It's a team effort. It's not just the guys on the playing field. It's all of us making sure all of it works as well, right?
100%. And go Guns.
Go Guns is right. All right, Rudy, we'll let you go, and then we'll finish up our show here with Coach Cris Reisert.
Thank you guys again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, big thanks to Coach Rudy Brownell for taking the time to stop in here and chat with us. Coach, you mentioned that you wanted to have him on. You knew at the time it looked like they were lining up to win the conference championship. So why not celebrate conference championships when his office is just right over there?
Without a doubt. No, he and his staff do an awesome job. I see all the hard work they put into it. I see all the hard work their players put into it. And so I think anytime we can shout that out and broadcast that within our athletic department is really, really cool. And so have a lot of respect for what they do. So I'm happy they were able to pop on.
Yep, absolutely. Rudy's been part of that soccer program for as long as I can remember there being Tiffin University soccer. That's for sure.
That's cool.
Well, the Dragons, as we said, 1 o'clock start. The men's soccer team will be playing Findlay in the conference tournament. We'll be playing our second to last football game on the road at Ohio Dominican University. And really, when I was looking at ODU, and they're 4-5, they lost their last game to Findlay, but they've won 3 games in a row leading up to that. And their first 3 losses of the season were a total of 6 points. So that record could be flip-flopped tremendously. But when I look at their numbers, it really starts out with, on the defensive side, the Eddie Miller-Garrett young man.
Yeah.
Single-season sack leader, single-season tackles for loss leader, and the all-time tackles for loss leader at Ohio Dominican University. That says something. They've had a lot of good defensive football players over there.
Yeah, no, he's a tremendous player. They have a tremendous defense, and they really go as their defense goes. You know, 5 Eddie Miller's-Garrett is a really, really good player. I think he's leading the country in sacks right now, and so he's dynamic. You need to know where he's at on every play. You know, and 20, their linebackers are really dynamic football player, really good player. Got some high-level DBs. So yeah, we certainly have a ton of respect for Ohio Dominican. I have a ton of respect for Kelly Cummings, and certainly I've worked there in the past and played there, and so have nothing but tremendous things to say about those guys, and anxious for the opportunity to compete against them.
Well, strength versus strength, really. They're second against the run in the conference. You guys are excellent at running the football. Third in the GMAC in total defense, and second, or also third in scoring defense. And on the offensive side, Ty Wiley, a pretty talented wide receiver, and they'll play a couple quarterbacks.
Yeah, they will. No, they've played 2 guys throughout the course of the season. Ty, number 11, is a really good player, and their tailback, I think, is one of the more underrated guys in the conference, and is a very dynamic kid. So we certainly have to be aware of those two. Have to be aware of what's happening with the quarterbacks, and just got to mostly focus on Tiffin and focus on having a plan that's really sound in a lot of different ways, and then playing with tremendous energy and passion.
Yep, take care of the football. Try to take the football away, minimize the mistakes, roll the dice, see what happens.
You want to have my job.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, we'll switch one Saturday. How about that? All right, got some questions for you. I remembered this week, so got some questions for you. We mentioned Ohio Dominican, where you played. So Scott in Columbus says, what was it about ODU for you? Tiffin didn't call?
You know what? I didn't get recruited by Tiffin. No, I didn't get recruited by Tiffin, and in all honesty, my the big thing in Ohio Dominican at the time, they had just started football, and so it was an opportunity to compete right away, and have been recruited by places that have been successful, and I wanted to go somewhere and really kind of put my stamp on it, and felt like I could be another one of the guys, or maybe be a part of building something really cool. And so went to ODU, and then at the end of the day, it's where my mom wanted me to go, and so generally you kind of do what mom tells you to do, and she
what's good for you.
Yeah, she had steered me wrong, and to that point, she still hasn't. So that's really what led me there.
No, they're good people down there too. I've always enjoyed when I go down there and get a chance to work with those folks, so I understand that. All right, David in Cleveland wanted to know, with the loss of Anthony Lowe this year, he wants to know what it was that made this wide receiving corps step up, and how proud are you of the efforts they put out this year?
Yeah, I don't know that it was one thing. I think it's just been a collective effort. I think we've got a ton of talented guys, and obviously losing Anthony was a huge blow. And you're talking about a guy that was a preseason All-American, and just a dynamic football player. And so our guys, I think, saw it as an opportunity to showcase that the skill sets that they have in a variety of different ways. And I don't think any one person replaces Anthony. I think it's a volume of replacements. It's running backs, it's receivers, it's tight ends, and all guys that are playing really high level football, and to kind of fill that void. So we sure look forward to the days where we have him back, and I think that's coming. But we're really proud of the guys and the way that they've performed, in his absence, and I think that their best football is ahead of them as well.
Well, they're all guys that were going to have a role. You know what I mean? So it's not like they were guys that were just playing on, sitting on the bench. They all knew they were going to be playing, and they all look at it as probably as, okay, a little bit more opportunity for them.
No, I think, with Anthony dealing with his injuries, I think it's, we got a group of guys that really genuinely love each other, enjoy being around one another, and it's, it hurt everybody, to see him not get the opportunity to play, myself included, and your heart breaks for him. But our guys have seen it not as a, hey, I get mine now. Right now, it's just, hey, this is what the team needs. It's what the team needs. And at the end of the day, all of us want to win. And it doesn't matter if you have 90 catches or 2. as long as it says one more on the Tiffin side than it does the other
That's
team,
right.
then you did your job.
Absolutely.
And I think our guys have really bought into that vision, and he has become our biggest cheerleader. And so he's doing his job in the role that he can fill right now.
Well, this question here, Coach, you kind of alluded to it when Coach Brownell was on. This is from Jesse and Tiffin. He just wants to know how important it is to the local communities to have local success with the university. And you kind of mentioned, the community when we were talking to Coach Brownell, but you just want to know how important it is to the local community to know we got a local football team here doing some really cool things.
Yeah, well, I think the short answer is that we want it to be big. As an athletic department, I think as coaches, as players, you want the community and the surrounding area to be supportive and to be encouraged by what's happening. I think that anytime you can get positive flow or positive momentum right in your town, that's a big deal. And
Absolutely.
if you get buzz and you get people in the newspaper and you're getting reporters out and you're getting people on social media are talking about Tiffin, they're talking about Tiffin football and Tiffin men's soccer and a lot of the cool things that are happening at the university, I think it does nothing but bring positive momentum and energy into the town.
I'm right there with you.
That's the way that I've always kind of looked at it. You look at Tiffin Columbian still playing, right? You have you have a lot of the high schools that are still playing in the area, and I think anytime you have that buzz, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Football is just one of those sports. Everybody loves. If you're a sports fan, you love sports, but football's just got a little something special to it.
I'm biased. I'm a football coach, but I don't think there's a better game, in the world. I love everything about it.
That's why they do homecoming during football games.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, this is from Robin in Dayton area. You're gonna like this one. Hosting a TU watch party over the last 2 weeks. What do we serve for food and drink?
Well, I think if you're after my own heart, you got to have Skyline chili dip, right?
That's
a true Cincinnatian would say that, right? And then a true what is it, Tiffinite,
right?
As I am now, I'd say you got to have chicken chunks.
Chicken chunks,
right?
yes.
You got to have that to take care of both of my past, right? and then I think you got to have buffalo chicken dip, and you got to have because that's a key at any big party, right?
Yes.
And then I think probably. What would be the main thing? My wife's probably like, man, this is crazy right now. I'm going to say maybe some ribs.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe some ribs, smoke some ribs.
I'm all about that.
I think you'll help the Dragons win these last 2 games. And
so,
then send us some stuff.
Yeah,
right? We're looking for that.
See, I was smart enough to have lunch before we started this. I knew we were going to be mentioning food. So if you have a question for the coach, all you got to do is email that to us, wtud@tiffin.edu. We got 2 more regular season home games this Saturday. The Dragons at Ohio Dominican. They will have the broadcast on the Great Midwest Digital Network. I'll have the radio call for you on WTUD, tudragonradio.com, as well as at Coast Country 100.9. Coach, we'll get back together next week. Hopefully talk about another Dragon victory. Appreciate your time. And big thanks to Coach Rudy Brownell for taking the time to come over and chat with us today.
Awesome. Yeah, good day. We'll see you next week.
All right, he's Coach Cris Reisert. I'm Russ Snyder, and this has been the Coach Cris Reisert Show.